Okay, we're back. So I actually found out that if you do the front one first, it's easier. But okay, so here we go. We have this thing that's loose. Just be careful. You want to put those hooks under, and just push it up. And there you go. It's on. So you want to put those screws back so that we don't have to worry about doing this thing again. Here we go. So slide it out. You can see those hooks. You want to make sure you get that in there real good. See, now those hooks are gone. You can kind of see them, but let's see. Did I put this in proper? There we go. The way you know you put it in proper is that these things will line up. These, you know, you have to move it around. They'll line up and you won't see any hooks here or anything like that. So let's go ahead and put these screws back on. We'll do the top ones first so that we can get some sort of a starting point. Sorry for the bad angles, guys. I know it's kind of hard to see, but I am using a mounted camera. I am not holding on to myself. Unfortunately, I have no key grips next to me to take care of that either, so okay. Now you don't want to turn this too tight. Too tight, you'll mess something up, you know? You just want to turn it until it stops and then give it a very tiny amount of pressure. Okay? So let's do the easier of the two in the bottom first. Okay? So here we go. It's open. Slide that in there. Oh, see, look at that. I almost dropped it. Okay. There we go. And the last one. It's always good to, with these little magnetic things, to mount them up first. You can see you want to mount that up first. Okay, so this ribbon is a little in the way. Slide it out just a little bit and be careful. Be careful, you don't want to rip that ribbon either, because then you won't have a phone that works proper. Now in the case like me, if you end up tearing the little volume strip, this whole back portion of the phone actually has to be replaced. You have to replace it. There's no ifs, ands, or buts, which is pretty bad, so you gotta be careful. This thing is actually stuck. This is glued on here with an adhesive. See? I pulled it up already I was curious to see if this thing can be replaced easily. This whole portion is the top ribbon. So, I mean, you're not going to find people selling this by itself that easy, I'm pretty sure. Okay. So here we go. Now, if you want to put the COM board. Oh, gotta pause real quick. Okay, we're back. Let's answer a phone call. So, okay, so we're gonna put the COM board on. It's pretty simple. You have these two clips, and be very careful, because if you move these wires off, you have to reorient them. And they can be a bit tricky, because there's little clips here. I don't know if you can see that, but there's little clips there that that if you pull the thing out like I did, you gotta push them back in there. You have to be careful, because you don't want to tear these things. You tear these things and that's it. And the white one is shorter than the white one's shorter than the black one for the antenna points. So let's go ahead. Let's put that joker back on. This is easy. Once that mounts into these little holes right here, this will kind of just snap. You want to make sure you get them in there, so sometimes you'll actually feel it and hear it. Just hear it snap into place. This one came in already. The one on the side. this one's not quite in. Oh, there you go. You heard that? It just went click. Sweet. Alright. There we go. So they're both in there. So what we want to do is be careful. The majority of you are still going to have this portion hooked on like that. So, and you don't want to pull it up too much. So we got to take this tab for the battery pull out, and you want to take it up from the top because you need to put that thing in back proper. The slider mechanism and everything. You want to make sure that you can put the mute button back. Alright, so we got it on there. Now, putting this thing on is not all that easy. I'm not going to lie to you. It could be a bit of a pain in the ass. One, because this thing right here has a little hook on the bottom, and that black thing has to go on it. So that takes a while. So I'm going to pause the video and put it in so that I don't stay on here forever. Okay folks, so we got that sucker on, and I closed the thing down, so that little black part is under that little hook, that little lip. Okay, now here's the frustrating part. This took me a while to figure out. Now you notice that in the inside of the phone it has this little flap here. That doesn't just snap into place. You actually have to be clever in putting it in. The way I learned how to figure it out is kind of got to pull back on this a little bit. It's kind of hard to do, but I use my finger to grab it right here, and I pull upwards so that I can slide it in there. Let me see if I can get it. Yeah, I got that one. Let me see if I can put it in a way that you guys can see it. But it slides in. And the same thing has to go for this one too. You kind of got to pull back on it. Pull back on it with your thumb or whatever. And I'm right-handed, so it's easier. It's probably easier to do this for left-handed people. But you kind of just got to slide that in. It's much more difficult. See, I got it like that. Kind of just pull it in. This side's easier because if this doesn't have anything holding it down, but when you do have this ribbon still connected, this part is so frustrating. You have to work with it. Be patient. Move at it slow. Okay. So once you get this in, you can just snap these things back into place. And you know you're snapping it in back when it starts hearing that little clicking noise. And if you see that, I pulled it a little bit more and that thing came out. So I'm going to have to pull it again. I can do this part with my nails, so let's try this again. It's a little bit easier for me because, like I said, I broke the ribbon. How many times am I going to say that? What the hell's my problem? Okay, I got it. See, I'm a pro. Okay, there we go. Everything's back into place. This thing flips up. You got to be careful. You want to put this back down. Okay, there you go. Be careful with this flip. Alright. Now, we just need to put back the screws. This thing will stay loose. I don't know if you ever noticed those people that have the Palm Pre and you can shake it up. You hear it like shaking. That's because this thing is loose. So, the way to fix that is really just to tighten these screws. Which is really cool because this one you actually don't have to worry about. The one with the little palm sign, you don't have to actually tighten it to make it better. So let's go ahead and put these screws back on. Takes a little bit of time for this. Like I said, just leave them slightly loose. I mean, you can screw them in, but don't tighten them until you're almost done completing everything. Leave them a little loose. And when we're done, we'll finish them off. And for any other intensive purposes, we'll put the one with the palm little sticker back in here, even though we broke it already. Okay, here we go. This is how we want to do it. Now we're going to tighten it up. You see how it starts to click in there? We'll tighten, just give it a little tight screw, not that much. Remember, you don't want to break these screws. These screws will break in the inside. The last thing is you want the metal pin to break. Then you got to buy another one of these. There we go. We're good. This is it. Verizon keyboard, Sprint button, Verizon logo. Everything's normal. We still got our flap out. That's it. Let's go ahead and put back. I don't know what I did with the cover, but. And if you did everything right, this thing should turn right back on. There you go. For those of you that took the Verizon parts, well, the face, and put it back on the Sprint, you now have a Sprint Pre Plus. And those of you putting this thing back on Verizon, they have it flash for somebody else or whatnot, they now will have a Palm Pre Minus. Thanks for being patient, guys.